I have not forgotten you. My child, I see the burden you carry, the weight of unanswered prayers, the doubts that whisper in your mind, the fear that keeps you up at night. I know you're wondering, Lord, where are you in all of this? And I want you to know right now, my love for you has not changed. My faithfulness to you has not wavered. I have not forgotten you. I see your pain. I feel your heartache. And I am with you. Even when the storm is loud and the clouds seem thick, you are never alone. I will not leave you, and I will not fail you. Many of you in this land, the United States, the land that dreams, the land that faces battles both personal and collective, are fighting invisible wars. You are battling in silence, fighting to hold on to hope when everything around you says, give up. And yet, my beloved child, I am here to tell you, hope is never lost, and it is never too late. I am the God of the impossible. I am the God who makes a way when there seems to be no way. I am the God who, in a moment, can turn your mourning into dancing, your pain into purpose. You may be facing a storm, but hear me now. This storm will pass, and you will emerge stronger, brighter, and more equipped to fulfill the purpose I have set before you. In the middle of your struggle, it may seem like hope is slipping away, but I assure you, hope is not dependent on your circumstances. Hope is rooted in my unchanging love. I promised in Romans 8:28 that all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to His purpose. Even now, as you walk through difficulty, I am working in ways you cannot yet see. Trust me. Do not give up hope. I understand what you are facing. In this country, where millions are battling sickness, financial loss, broken relationships, and unfulfilled dreams, it can feel like hope is just a distant memory. But I remind you of my promise in Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Your story is not over. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Even when you can't see it, I am moving. I know there is a woman in Texas, a mother of 3 young children, who has been praying for months, maybe even years, for financial freedom. She's worked 2 jobs, and yet it never feels enough. Every bill feels like a mountain, and every new month brings new stress. Yet, she holds on to faith, even when the world tells her to give up. This woman did not give up hope. She kept praying, kept trusting, and one day, out of nowhere, a friend offered to pay for the school uniforms for her kids. No strings attached. That's my provision. It may not always come the way you expect, but I am always faithful. You may be like a man in California who's just lost his job in tech, where his future once seemed bright. He questions how he will make ends meet, where his next step should be. But in his heart, he knows that giving up hope is not an option. And what happens next? A connection made through an old colleague leads him to a business opportunity that is not only financially fruitful, but deeply fulfilling. You may be uncertain now, but hold on. You may be afraid now, but hold on. I am not finished with you. My child, do you remember the story of Job? Job, who lost everything, his wealth, his health, his family. And yet, in the midst of his suffering, he said in Job 13:15, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him." Trust, even when the road ahead looks dark. Hope, even when the answers are delayed. You see, my child, it is not the absence of trials that marks my children, but the presence of faith through them. I am with you, even in the valleys. And just like I did for Job, I will restore what the enemy tried to steal from you. I will give back what was taken. Look at the widow's offering in Mark 12:41-44. She had almost nothing, and yet she gave all she had. To the world it seemed foolish, but to me it was an act of profound faith. I didn't need her money. I needed her heart. And I need your heart now. I need you to trust me completely. I need you to hold on to hope, not because your circumstances are perfect, but because I am perfect, and I am with you. When you give me all that you have, your hope, your faith, your love, nothing is ever wasted. In 2 Corinthians 4:17 it says, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." You may feel that the weight of your trouble is unbearable. The pain may seem too much, the road too long. But remember, your trouble is light and momentary in comparison to the glory I am preparing for you. There is an eternal reward for every sacrifice, every tear, every prayer you've whispered in the night. And, my beloved child, I speak to those of you who feel alone in your battle. You're overwhelmed by the challenges around you, whether it's facing the pain of a relationship falling apart, the anxiety of losing a job, or the exhaustion of the power of hope that doesn't fade. My child, the road you're walking may feel impossible. The weight of your struggle may seem unbearable, and you may feel like the light at the end of the tunnel is farther away than ever before. But I speak to you today to remind you that hope is not an option. It is your weapon, and it is more powerful than any trial, any obstacle, or any enemy that seeks to steal your peace. Your hope is anchored in me, and because of that you will never be disappointed. You will never be let down. Do not give up hope. I will make a way, even where there seems to be no way. I see you, my precious one, feeling like you're walking in circles. Maybe it's the brokenness of a relationship or the sting of betrayal that has left your heart shattered. Maybe it's the fear of not being able to provide for your family, or the anxiety of an uncertain future. And you've asked yourself, "How much longer, Lord? How much longer must I wait?" And I hear your cry. I feel your heart. And I want you to know this. Your waiting is not wasted. Your tears are not unnoticed. Your faith is not in vain. Consider the story of the woman with the issue of blood in Luke 8:43-48. She had been suffering for 12 years, bleeding, spending all she had on doctors, and finding no solution. But she did not give up hope. She heard about me, and she pressed through the crowd, determined that if she could just touch the hem of my garment, she would be healed. And what happened? She was healed in an instant. Her hope didn't fade in the waiting. Her hope led her to the breakthrough. She reached out in faith, and I responded with healing. Just like that, I am ready to heal you, to restore you, and to deliver you. But I need you to press through your doubts, press through your fears, and keep hoping. Hope is the fuel of faith. Without hope, there can be no faith. That's why, my child, I tell you to hold on to it. Hold on to hope. Even when everything around you says, "Give up," I am saying, "Trust me, keep hoping, because I am moving. And you might not see it yet, but I am preparing something greater for you than you could imagine. I am a God who is not limited by time, by your situation, or by the world's standards. I will bring about miracles in your life that will astound you. Remember Joseph, who was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and falsely imprisoned. For years he waited in uncertainty, alone, with only a dream that seemed impossible. And yet, in the end, Joseph's hope didn't fade. His trust in my plan didn't waver. He rose from the pit, became second in command of Egypt, and saved his entire family during a time of famine. That dream, that promise I gave him came to pass. And I am speaking to you today. The dream I have placed in your heart will come to pass if you don't give up hope. In Romans 5:3-5, Paul writes, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit, who has been given to us. Your suffering is not wasted. Your perseverance is not pointless. You are being shaped and molded, prepared for something greater than you could ask or imagine." Consider a single mother in New York. She works 2 jobs to provide for her children. But still, the bills pile up, and the stress takes its toll. Yet she keeps praying, she keeps trusting, she keeps believing that God will make a way. Then, one day, a neighbor she barely knows knocks on her door with a basket full of groceries and a handwritten note. "God told me to bless you today. My child, I see your struggles. And just like that woman, I am moving in ways you don't see. Your miracle is on the way, even now. Let me tell you, hope is not a passive act. Hope is active. It is intentional. It is the faith that says, even though I can't see a way, I will still believe you, Lord. I will still trust you. I will still wait." Hope holds the heart steady in the storm, like an anchor that keeps the ship from drifting, no matter how fierce the winds are. It may not always come instantly. It may not come in the way you expect. But I assure you, my child, it will come. I am a God of promises, and I keep every one of them. Think about David, a young shepherd boy who was anointed to be king but spent years in hiding, running for his life, facing enemies and hardships. Yet he never gave up hope in the promises I had spoken over him. And eventually, David became king, and I established his kingdom forever. You may feel like David today, hidden, forgotten, isolated. But I'm preparing you. I'm calling you to greatness, and in the fullness of time, I will lift you up. Now I want you to imagine this. What would your life look like if you never gave up hope? What if you truly believed that this moment of pain is not your end, but the beginning of your breakthrough? What if you saw your struggle not as a sign of failure, but as the preparation for something magnificent that I am about to do? My beloved, do not let the darkness around you steal the light of hope within you. You are not defeated. You are being refined. I know that for some of you this feels hard to hear. Some of you are in the middle of your most challenging seasons, and the promise feels distant. But I say to you today, hope is not a feeling. It is a decision. And you can choose hope even in the hardest of times. Choose to trust in my plan. Choose to believe that I am always working behind the scenes. Choose to hold on to the truth of my word, and you will see the fulfillment of my promises in your life. My child, I speak to you today not only to encourage you, but to remind you that my love is always in action. My love is not passive. It moves, it heals, it restores, it provides. And as you hold on to hope, my love will never let you down. You are never too far gone. You are never forgotten, and your hope is never in vain. Sing children on your own. You may feel like no one understands, and you may feel like there's no one to lean on. But hear my words. I am your rock. I am your fortress. I am your refuge. No matter what the world says, I say this to you. You are never alone. I am with you. Your hope is not in vain. My child, the journey you are on is not the end, but the beginning of something far greater than you can imagine. You might look around and see the struggles, the doubts, the unanswered prayers, but I say this to you with all my heart. Your hope is not in vain. I am working in ways that you cannot yet see, shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for what's ahead. Your suffering is temporary, but the glory that will follow is eternal. Hold on to that hope. Do not let go of it. Hope in me, and you will never be disappointed. Some of you might be feeling like you've been in a battle for so long that you don't remember what peace feels like. Your heart might be heavy with the weight of your circumstances, and you may have thought about throwing in the towel. But, my beloved, you are so close to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Hope is your strength, and I am the source of that hope. Look at the story of Hannah in 1 Samuel. She prayed and wept year after year for a child. Her hope was crushed by barrenness and people ridiculed her. Yet she kept praying, and when the time was right, I answered her prayers, and she bore a son, Samuel, who became a great prophet. Do not stop praying, do not stop hoping. Your hope is not just wishful thinking. It is a confident expectation in my promises. When you place your trust in me, I will never disappoint you. Psalm 33:22 says, May your unfailing love be with us, Lord, even as we put our hope in you. When you hope in my love, you are anchored, no matter how strong the winds of life may blow. You are rooted in my faithfulness, and nothing can shake that. I know many of you in the United States are facing overwhelming challenges. Some of you are working multiple jobs just to make ends meet, and it feels like you're running on empty. Some of you are struggling with health issues, feeling as though the pain will never end. And some of you are dealing with broken relationships, heartache, and loneliness. But I say to you today, do not give up. Hope is still alive, and it's growing in you. Just like a seed buried in the ground that you cannot see sprouting, your hope is working beneath the surface, preparing you for the harvest. There's a man in Florida who has been trying to get his business off the ground for years. He faced rejection after rejection, and for a long time it seemed like nothing was going to change. He doubted his abilities, and at times, he doubted my promises. But he kept pushing forward, trusting that I had a plan for him. One day, after years of struggle, a large company reached out to him and asked him to partner with them. That partnership turned into the breakthrough he had been praying for. Your breakthrough is on the horizon. Do not let your struggles blind you to what I am doing behind the scenes. There's also a woman in Michigan who has been struggling with her mental health. For years, she has fought against depression, anxiety, and the overwhelming sense that she isn't good enough. She felt alone, but she refused to give up hope. One day, she attended a church service and heard a message on the power of God's love. In that moment, she felt my presence flood her soul, and she realized that she had been trying to find peace in all the wrong places. She started praying, reading my word, and seeking the support of others. Over time, she found healing, slowly but surely. She found peace that transcends understanding. You too can experience this peace. My beloved, you are not alone in your battle. I am with you in the fire, I am with you in the valley, and I will be with you on the mountaintop. Hold on to hope. You may not see it now, but I am working in ways that you cannot see. I am moving behind the scenes, orchestrating divine appointments, opening doors you thought were closed, and setting the stage for your victory. Look at Moses. He led the Israelites out of Egypt, but it took 40 years of wandering in the desert before they reached the promised land. During that time, many grew weary, lost faith, and doubted my promise. But Moses never gave up hope. He knew that the God who had led him out of Egypt would fulfill his promise. And he did. The Israelites entered the land flowing with milk and honey. Your promised land is waiting. Do not give up hope. Sometimes the path to the promise is longer than we expect and the wait feels unbearable. But my child, waiting is never wasted. The waiting refines you. The waiting strengthens your faith. The waiting prepares you for the greatness that is ahead. In the waiting, I am working. Trust in that. I want to remind you today that hope is active. It's not just a feeling. It's a choice. You choose to hope even when everything around you says, give up. You choose to trust even when the situation looks impossible. You choose to keep your eyes fixed on me, not on the storm. And when you do that, you will see my glory revealed in your life. Remember Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. When you trust in me, hope overflows. It becomes your foundation. It becomes your light in the darkness. It becomes the peace that calms your fears. Your hope is a light that can never be extinguished, because I am the source of that hope. Now, my child, as you continue to trust, continue to hope, continue to stand firm in my promises, remember this. Your hope is never in vain. Every prayer, every act of faith, every tear you've cried is being used to bring you closer to your breakthrough. I am working, and I will never leave you or forsake you. I am with you, always. If you have been encouraged by this message, I ask you to share it with someone who needs to hear my voice. Someone in your life may be on the verge of giving up, and they need to know that hope is still alive. Don't keep this message to yourself. Share it. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to God's sacred voice, because every week, I will be here speaking my word into your life, lifting you up, and reminding you that I am for you, and I will never fail you. Hold on to hope. The best is yet to come.